Hi there, everybody! Agora vamos conhecer um novo verbo, né? Assim a gente vai aumentando o nosso vocabulário, certo? Então, olha só, é um verbo, uma expressão to feel like. To feel like. To feel é sentir, tá? Sentir, sentir na pele, to feel. Mas to feel like é ter vontade de. To feel like. Vamos lá, repeat. To feel like. One more time. To feel like. Ter vontade de. Let's conjugate to feel like. I feel like. You feel like. He feels like. Tá? O verbo que a gente conjuga é o feel. O like é um complemento, certo? She feels like. It feels like. We feel like. You feel like. They feel like. Alright. Como é que a gente vai usar isso numa frase? Eu estou com vontade. Olha só. Danny says. Danny says. Eu estou com vontade de ir para uma caminhada, né? Para fazer uma caminhada. I feel like. Attention to the verb after like. The verb comes in gerund, tá? De novo, aqui também, né? O verbo vem no gerúndio, ing. I feel like going for a walk, tá? Danny says, Danny feels like going for a walk. What does Danny feel like doing? Olha a pergunta geral. What does he feel like doing? Né? O que ele está com vontade de fazer? What does he feel like doing? Repeat that. What does he feel like doing? What does he feel like doing? He feels like going for a walk. Does he feel like going for a walk? Yes, he does. What does he feel like doing? He feels like going for a walk. Who feels like going for a walk? Danny does. What does he feel like doing? He feels like going for a walk. Do you feel like going for a walk? Yes or no, right? Yes, I do. No, I don't, right? Do I feel like going for a walk? Yes, you do. Does Tina feel like going for a walk? Yes, she does. Do Danny and Paul feel like going for a walk? No, they don't. Only Danny feels like going for a walk, right? Only Danny. Paul, we don't know, right? He's not here, right? What else does he feel like doing? What else? He feels like going to the movies. Does he feel like going to the movies? Yes, he does. What does he feel like doing? He feels like going to the movies. Tina feels like going to the movies. What does she feel like doing? All right, she feels like going to the movies. Bob feels like having lunch. What does he feel like doing? He feels like having lunch. Ele está com vontade de almoçar, né? Um, uh, John feels like buying a new car. What does John feel like doing? Perfect. He feels like buying a new car. Does he feel like buying a new car? Yes, he does. And Kathy, does she feel like buying a new car? No, she doesn't. What does she feel like buying? Purse. Fantastic. She feels like buying a new purse. Does she feel like buying a new purse? Yes, she does. What does she feel like buying? She feels like buying a new purse. Mary feels like buying new shoes. Does she feel like buying new shoes? Yes, she does. What does she feel like buying? Fantastic. She feels like buying new shoes. Who feels like buying new shoes? Mary does. Fantastic. And Peter. Peter feels like buying a new motorcycle. What does she feel like buying? Fantastic. He feels like buying a motorcycle. Mauro feels like traveling to Brazil. What does he feel like doing? Fantastic. He feels like traveling to Brazil. Ele está com vontade de viajar para o Brasil, right? Does he feel like traveling to Brazil? Yes, he does. What does he feel like doing? Very good. He feels like traveling to Brazil. Where does he feel like traveling to? Where? All right, he feels like traveling to Brazil. Paul feels like traveling to Paris. Where does he feel like traveling to? All right, he feels like traveling to Paris. Tina feels like traveling to Rome. Where does she feel like traveling to? Fantastic. She feels like traveling to Rome. Who feels like traveling to Rome? Tina does. Where does she feel like traveling to? All right, she feels like traveling to Rome. Danny feels like eating a slice of pizza. Slice é uma fatia, né? A slice of pizza. What does Danny feel like eating? All right, he feels like eating a slice of pizza. Does he feel like eating a slice of pizza? How many slices of pizza does he feel like eating? He feels like eating a slice of pizza or one slice of pizza or only one slice of pizza, right? Does he feel like eating a whole pizza? No, he doesn't. How much does he feel like eating? O quanto, né? How much? He feels like eating a slice of pizza. What does he feel like eating? All right. Does he feel like eating a piece of chocolate or a slice of pizza? Very good. He feels like eating a slice of pizza. All right, fantastic. Agora dá uma olhadinha aqui. He feels like having lunch, tá? Danny feels like having lunch. Why does he feel like having lunch? Because he is hungry, right? Já conhecemos, né, a palavrinha hungry. Is he hungry? Yes, he is com fome, né? Hungry. Is he hungry? Yes, he is. What does he feel like eating? He feels like eating a slice of pizza. Why is he hungry? Because it's lunchtime, né? Tá na hora do almoço. Is it lunchtime? Yes, it is. Why is Danny hungry? Because it's lunchtime. What does he feel like doing? He feels like having lunch. Why does he feel like having lunch? Because he's hungry. Why is he hungry? Because it's lunchtime. All right. All right. E agora? He feels, Bob. Bob feels like drinking some water. What does Bob feel like doing? He feels like drinking some water. What does he feel like drinking? He feels like drinking some water. Né? Pouco d'água. Some water. Why does he feel like drinking some water? Because he is thirsty. Lembrando, né? A palavra hungry e a palavra thirsty. Right? He is thirsty. Why does he feel like drinking water? Because he's thirsty. Tá com sede, né? Thirsty. Is he thirsty? Yes, he is. Why does he feel like drinking water? Because he's thirsty. What does he feel like drinking? All right, he feels like drinking some water. Why does he feel like drinking some water? Because he is thirsty. All right, very good. Very good. Agora dá uma olhadinha aqui, ó. You feel like joking, don't you? Né? Você tá com vontade de fazer piada, né? Contar uma piada. To joke. To joke. Vamos lá. Repeat. To joke. Again. To joke. Let's conjugate to joke. I joke. You joke. He jokes. She jokes. It jokes. We joke. You joke. They joke. Uh-huh. Does Danny feel like joking? Yes, he does. É a mesma coisa que eu dizer to tell a joke, tá? Does Danny feel like... Como é que fica? Dizer uma piada. Como é que fica? Does Danny feel like... Does Danny feel like telling a joke? Does Danny feel like telling a joke? Yes, he does. What does he feel like telling? He feels like telling a joke, right? He can feel like telling a joke, telling a story, right? He feels like telling a joke. Does he feel like telling a joke? Yes, he does. What does he feel like doing? It feels like telling a joke. Fantastic. Is it a joke? No, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's serious. Só para a gente praticar mais vocabulário, né? Is it a joke? No, it's not a joke. It's serious. Perfect. All right? Tudo isso vai aparecer no nosso diálogo mais para frente. Então, já sabe, né? Mesma ladainha. Repete, estuda bastante, repete as frases, assiste o vídeo mais uma vez, quem sabe, capricha bem, depois volta para a gente continuar. See y'all later, guys!